To everyone for joining in. And we have a wonderful panel, great mix of absolute veterans from the industries who's worked from the 90s till the current trend. So should be an interesting panel. And we want to keep it in such a way that we'll have some discussions and then we'll open up for questions, right? And for the questions, don't hesitate to ask any questions. There's no stupid question, just ask. And that will help others as well, right? So I think we'll start, guys, with a bit of introduction. I'll go first and then I'll push it off to everyone. My name is Druhin. I have a studio in Pune. Me and Ranbir, we make games on mobile, PC, and console. And we have been making games for the last 17 years now. And I'll be the moderator for this wonderful panel. Over to you, Mayank, and then Rahul, and sorry, you can go.
Thanks, Druhin. My name is Mayank Grover. I'm founder of Outscale. We are an educational platform that focuses on helping people land careers in the gaming industry. I've been a dev for 15 plus years, worked with a lot of global studios, both in India and US. And essentially what we are trying to solve with Outscale is the same problem that I faced back in 2009-10 when I was trying to make my entry into the gaming industry. There wasn't much community around, much support around, much guidance, mentorship. So fast forward 2018, when I decided to take my entrepreneurial plunge, that's the kind of problem statement that I wanted to work on. So yeah.
Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Rahul Sehgal. I'm a game designer, fundamentally that's my skill. And I am the founder of Gamer to Maker, which is to some people I'll say EdTech, but technically it's actually an online game development school. We teach game design, game art, game programming, Unreal Engine, Unity, and we actually build projects. So we are also kind of an incubator where people join the program and they actually build entire games in teams from scratch, and then we help them get jobs, or they set up their own studios. And so my background is actually I'm from the Merchant Navy. At the age of 33, I said I don't want to sail ships anymore. I want to be a game designer, and I went off to Vancouver Film School, and basically since then I've been trying to help people make that same transition from something else into making video games. I did it in 1 year. I was navigating ships on the ocean, and a year later I was designing games. Like, it can be done potentially, and that's and I help other people to do that.
Hi guys. So my name is Joshi Mark. So a little about me. I come from the gaming industry. So I've been in the industry since 1996, 97. Part of the core team, when Rajesh Rao, the previous chairman of NASCOM, the IGDC, he was the business guy who'd go out and get work. I was the guy sitting internally, me and a colleague of mine, Shailesh, we were the ones who would do work. So we started off with Mission Impossible, moved on to Terminator 3, and worked on many other titles from Forza Motorsport to Toka Car Racing to Need for Speed. So we got to work on many titles. So 10 years into the industry, from 1997 to 2007-8, there were no good institutes training industry people, training people to go into the industry. So our goal was to, it was more of a passion. We moved out, set up IGA with Hanif. So we set up IGA, which is now Asian Institute of Design. So I did that for 5 years and all. Then moved on to Moonfrog Labs. So Moonfrog Labs got us a few successful game titles, Atin Pati Gold and Ludo and Bahubali and Alia Bhatt Star Lab. Some of these games did fairly well. Then after that, at the moment, I have another studio called Super Huge Studios, Zarpi Labs. So we basically make casual mobile games, and that's what I do. And all along, academia is something that I love. Development is another area that I love. So putting these together and helping youngsters has been my passion.
Thanks, Joe. I think I was not born when he started developing games.
I've seen the dinosaur.
Yeah, my name is Hanif Mohammed. I'm the CEO at Asian Institute of Design. Set up the first dedicated gaming institute in India. It was called as Asian Institute of Gaming and Animation then. We started with game art with Joshi and myself and another friend of ours, Sailesh. We were the co-founders of that. since then started with game art, flash games, game programming, now design. Done, I mean, we have so far 6,000 plus students have graduated from the institute. They're there in almost all the gaming hubs of the world. Now, been starting from a small institute, and when gaming was only, a gaming summit will have only so many people. So we used to recognize people with their, like I was saying, just the blazer or the coat that they were wearing, say, okay, that's Rajesh, okay, that's, only so many people were there. Or when we went to major banks or asking for student loans, and 75% of my presentation will be over, and then I think I'll no questions, and I'll feel like I'm doing a good job, and they'll stop me and ask me, you're talking about gambling, right? From then to see a conference where you have 7,000 plus footfalls is amazing. And yes, now we offer in a completely different mode. We offer our programs in universities in partnership with the universities, where we take care of the entire delivery, content, quality assurance, the internships and placement of the students, where the university comes in as certification partners, and we were working with almost 10 universities at the moment. Yeah.
Thanks so much, Hanif. So for everyone, just some backstory. Back in 2007, 2008, when it was called, can I take the risk? When it was called NGDC, you can hear me right at the back? Yeah, when it was called NGDC, we were about 15-20 people in a room. That's it. That was the gaming industry.
What year was that?
2007 or 2008 hoga, Pune mein.
Right. I remember it.
Yeah, Hanif was not born, most likely. Yeah. So,
I remember 2011,
yeah.
the mixer the other day, the number of people at the entire conference was less than the people.
Yes,
at the
absolutely.
mixer.
Exactly. So just to add on to what Hanif, it has grown in massive proportion from there to now. So my first topic would be for Mark, who has seen the dinosaurs, is you were one of the first people who created a curriculum for games, right? Back in 2006, I believe, 5-6.
Yeah.
And over an 18-year period right now in 2024, what are the big changes that you have seen in the structure, just in the curriculum side from your point of view?
So at that point of time, it was a services industry, right? It was primarily services industry. So we would work for PC consoles, the early consoles. So we would create content for that. So since it was the services industry, the content of academia was to teach people how to make content for these PC console games. It would be 3D props to environments to characters. Thereby, we actually went, so the industry and the academia at that point, at least from what we worked, we would see what are people working on, the studios, what are they working on. So it would be services working with studios in Delhi, Dhruva Down, and a few other studios. What are they working on? Props for a racing game, or even small little barriers in the game, damage states for one of the games, a Battlefield that we worked on at that point. All the damage states for a certain weapon or those were the academia elements. So our courseware was research on those elements. Picture references were very difficult to kind of get at that point because you did not have so we had to buy many of these CDs which would come, and those are things that we used to teach students. Primarily, how do you get into a studio, and what would you do in a studio if you were in a studio? How do you start off from references to this one? But we put it in a very academic pattern so that the whole courseware would eventually get them to be at a studio and start off from the in a month they are into the studio. So our courseware was developed that way so that you grew into a studio as smoothly as possible.
And just adding on that, maybe Mayank, you can answer this. Do you think from a expectation of a studio, right, from a student, have you seen that also change and rise in terms of what is an expected outcome of a student coming out of, let's say, anything, a diploma or a certificate or a degree? The time you have started, is the expectation of a studio also, you think, has changed?
You mean expectation of the studio or the students?
Of the students from the studio.
Yeah. I think that's a very good point what you mentioned regarding, back in the day, majority studios were service focused, right? So naturally, if you had to break into those studios, you need to understand what is it that they're working on, what are the kind of skill sets they are really interested in, right? But today, I think, especially with the boom of, good sort of phones that are much more affordable, right? A lot of people are now getting exposed to games that are global in nature, right? Talk about PUBGs and Free Fires of the world, right? People are more excited about building those kind of games, right? So with the newer generation, what at least I'm observing is that there is a product first mindset, right? A lot of people, when you think about and talk to them, younger minds, their aspirations are to either see their own games come to life, or work on games that they've kind of played, from some of these top global studios, not even just Indian studios, right? And that's the kind of projects that they aspire to build. As a result, expectations have risen multifold, right? They're no longer satisfied by the itch of working at a service studio, but they want to work at studios that are working on these ambitious titles, right? Be it from Rockstar working on GTA or to a new seed-funded studio that's trying to build the next competitor of PUBG or whatever, right? Or the next Fortnite, right? So as a result, the quality expectation in terms of the skills that are needed have also risen tenfold, right? So when we talk about especially our forte is programming when it comes to design and all, I'm definitely not the right person to talk to. But when it comes to programming, right, like when you look at these studios that are hiring and are trying to build a AA game for mobile in India using Unreal, right? Their interview process looks very similar to how even a Google interview process would look like. There will be like multiple rounds of technical interview. There will be a take-home assignment. They'll ask a lot of deep programming questions as well, right? So as a result, both sides, it's not even just the students, right? Students want to work on kick-ass projects, but then studios also expect top-notch quality because they're trying to shake the world, right? Their aspiration is no longer that I'm going to just sit here and service a studio in UK or US, but actually take something from India, build from India for the world, right? And that's what I think on both sides of the table, the expectation is, and as a result, the level of the skill that is needed needs to kind of level up there as well, right? A lot.